The views and opinions expressed on this station do not reflect the owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the 4th day of March, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House One Communications and Lindo's. I'm Jamal Hartman, along with Carlos Zul. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. If you're watching online, share the link. If you're on Facebook, start a watch party. If you're on Twitter, retweet it. If you're watching on channel 82, call someone, let them know we're on. Just get the conversation out there to your network, and don't forget to like and engage with us. Another good one today as we welcome Sara Bosch de Noya from the Bermuda Diabetes Association, along with Zach Moniz from Lindo's. The Daily Play is a name that place. Another easy one for Carla, but it's gonna be a confusing one for Carla. But stick with us, folks. Stick with us, because when I tell you it's easy, I think this is gonna be a trick question. But stick with us. Stick with us. Stick with us. How are you, Carla? It's been a while.
I know. I'm great. I am well rested. It's funny. I always laugh because I pretend to stay up later than you. I go to bed after you, and you're 5 hours behind me. I always find that so funny.
I was actually in bed like before 9 last night, but couldn't go to sleep. I don't know. I tried to actually close my eyes a bit sooner, but it didn't happen. And chances are you got more rest than me. And
I went to bed at 2:15 UK time, and I was up at 8 o'clock.
So are you one of those people that would be in Bermuda complaining about the curfew because you go sleep so late?
No, because I'm always at home. I have no issues. Even her, I mean, I'm in the UK. I'm getting tired of, I just want to go to dinner. That's the only thing. I could stay locked up in my house forever, except to go to the airport to come to Bermuda. I just want to go out to dinner. That's all I want.
She loves to eat, folks. So, hey, any single fellas, hey, she loves to eat. Take out.
How are you?
With me?
Yes.
Don't interrupt me while I'm trying to get you a date. But anyway, I'm doing okay. I've just been monitoring social media, I guess I can say, and it looks like people are pretty upset about the whole cannabis thing, right? And I'm going to be honest with you folks. You know me, I don't like to really talk about things that I'm not knowledgeable about. And maybe our politicians can do the same. We'll be better off. But anyway, no, I'm saying it's hard listening to these debates sometimes. But people are up in arms, and it looks like the government actually came out with a statement blaming the independent senators as well as the
opposition senators.
The opposition senators. It's. I mean, as you said, you read a bit of it. I want to get from the audience, how do you feel about this bill being rejected? Because if I'm not mistaken, the last time a bill was rejected in the Senate, it was the Municipalities Act, if I'm not mistaken, with the takeover of the corporation of Hamilton and Georges, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not something that regularly happens or happens on a normal basis. But you said you read a bit of it. What did you take from it? And also want to hear from the audience. How do you feel about the Senate shutting down this legislation?
Based on what I read, I feel, I don't think I disagree with it being rejected, only because it seems as if, based on what I read, I keep saying that, is that it seems like pieces are missing as far as independent Senator Joan Dillis Wright was saying that there wasn't much in the medical, or like she said, addiction counselors weren't consulted, and she named another entity, which I thought would be important. So I'm not against the law being passed, but I think if it's not thorough, looking at all angles, and I mean, we talked to Tammy yesterday, and we were talking about the health side of it as opposed to just the economic side of it. So if it's not a comprehensive bill, I don't think that it's a bad thing that it was rejected.
So basically, there's some things. I just remember I did listen to hours of that less than impressive debate in the House of Assembly a couple of weeks ago. And I wasn't impressed. I just could not believe that everything seemed to be about the economics of it, like how much money we can make, almost like sugar tax. This is why, for me personally, I just couldn't agree with the sugar tax because it was nothing tied to it that made sense. And it's crazy how we're talking about diabetes today and this is all happening, but nothing made sense about the sugar tax other than the government finding another way to make money. You know what I'm saying? And for me, that's what it seems like from listening to the House, that they just saw cannabis as an opportunity to make money. Where's the education part? Yeah, where's the medicinal information?
Right.
Like there's if we're gonna take this road, then don't you think it would be helpful to have a lot more information to maybe persuade the independent senators?
We don't know, but it just seems bizarre to me that if the association, and I will use Senator Wright again, Dillis Wright, if that's true, that seems so like one-dimensional. Like, if something like this, the same thing with gambling, for example, wouldn't you look at all possible angles of everything? And so I'm hoping I'm wrong, but it just seems really off that if that wasn't done, like, why not? When that seems like an obvious thing to do.
Indeed. Michelle White, Carla.
It gives time to really plan and get it right. Lacked medical support and answering the question of travel, which I believe started this in the first place.
Kathy Bromby says, overregulated. My plant in hibiscus isn't regulated. The health benefits were not debated. They shouldn't even need to be debated. They weren't mentioned. I mean, at least what I heard, and I did ask. And then, one of the challenges others had, and I mentioned, was the Minister of Health nor the Minister of National Security actually spoke on this in the House. And I remember when Premier Burt was asked about this, he said, well, not every minister is going to get to speak, and they're part of cabinet, and they obviously agree. But I think, he's a very smart guy when it comes to talking. And this is where journalism is so important, because if I'm a journalist and he says something like that, I'm going to really respond to the Premier and say, but Premier Burt, we're not just talking about anyone. We're talking about the Minister of Health and National Security. Would you not think, outside of the AG, these are probably the two most important ministries as it relates to this? That's like having a debate on diabetes and the Minister of Health saying nothing, in my opinion.
I agree.
So I think we need more. Shay Renee, Carla.
They should have done a better job writing the bill. It is only about the money. The people who are mad only take things on the surface. After it was passed, then only then would they realize that they were not included in the benefit.
Mm-hmm. And but Dr. Seaman says, where's the prototype of what they can be doing right now as far as drug treatment and education? I want to take this in another level. And I put it on Facebook, my personal Facebook and personal Twitter this morning. And I know it may do what I do, and it may be a bit controversial, but it's just the fact and it's the truth of what we're dealing with in Bermuda. To me, this is a big deal. This is like marriage, the fight to have marriage, people of same sex and people married, right? It's that serious to me, right? And I'll say this much, regardless of where you stand on these issues, Bermudian athletes have failed to do a job when it comes to justice in Bermuda. And I say that because we're the athletes. Outside of Lamont and Larry Marshall, I've yet to see athletes stand up for justice in Bermuda. Zlatan Ibrahimovic made comments last week saying that athletes should stick to what they're good at, being sports. And LeBron James responded because he pretty much spoke on LeBron. LeBron said, I'm not that guy. I do my research and this, that, and the other. And Zlatan responded saying, look, politics is politics. Politics divides people. Sports brings people together. I even disagree with that because I've asked the question. I love sports, but does sports bring us together, or does it distract us from what's going on around us? It's weird to think about this, and trust me, sports don't bring us together. If I'm a Manchester United fan and you're a Liverpool one,
try living in Manchester on Derby Day. Oh, it does not bring. Oh, I don't even know, but it is not. I mean, it is scary.
Yeah,
in the old days when things were open, so it does not bring people together.
To Argentina, I think it's Boca Juniors and someone else. I mean, it's crazy down in South America. But I think the point I'm making is, where are those people when it comes to issues like cannabis? Where are those people when it comes to issues like the marriage debate and like things that pretty much, I remember Brexit in the UK and the David Beckhams of the world were front and center, right? Where are the athletes? We love this local celebrity when it comes to being on a cut match team or playing in the national squad or, playing in some 6th or 7th division in England. We love what comes with it. But where are the Bermudian athletes who, people right now are on social media praising you and giving you love and making sure that you're celebrated? But what are you doing? And I'm not talking about charity or football clinics and camps. Where are you when it comes to the important decisions that are being made in your country on behalf of your people? Why are we so scared to get involved in the politics? The politics is not a bad thing when it's the decisions that impact the lives of your loved ones.
Is it fear or is it apathy? Because I think some people really don't necessarily care unless it directly benefits them. And I don't mean that's aimed at any specific athlete in the context of what we're talking, but some people don't even realize the implications of what things mean for their lives. So I do feel that we as a community need to do a better job about educating our young people, for example, of what things can really mean and not just unfaced. Because I think that's something that we suffer from in Bermuda. It doesn't bother me directly, so I'm not worrying about it.
But I think you're summing up the overall issue with it, and it's selfishness. It's selfishness. I agree. Zach says sports is an escape, and I agree. I would agree with that. It is a great escape from reality. I remember having this conversation with people saying, honestly, I created a Manchester United supporters group for Bermudians many years ago, right? And all of us in there, I mean, it was people with completely different political backgrounds, and we're all on the same team. It really does provide some harmony for a group of people, and we're able to banter about our club, joke about our club, laugh, and of course, more crying about our club.
And shout.
Yeah. But it is an escape. But I think that from the athlete's perspective, Bermudian athletes, cup match captains, national squad players, where are you? Why do you not care enough to make your voice heard? Now, people may say, well, you don't know what they're doing in the background, but that's part of the problem. Imagine if Muhammad Ali was in the background, LeBron James in the background. The impact that you're able to have on your community and your country when you're out in front. And I'm just going to say this because I don't want to leave people out, but whether you like what Social Justice Bermuda is doing or not, they're actually doing something. And we have had one of Bermuda's most celebrated athletes, Couture Hutton Parent Chief, Olympian, on this show as part of Social Justice Bermuda. So there are people doing stuff, but where are you all? Where are you? So this is a challenge to every last Bermudian who loves the celebrity that comes with being this athlete, amateur at that mainly, being this local celebrity. But we need you in these conversations when it comes to the legislation and policies that impact the lives of everyday people. And I encourage every last person who watches this show to challenge those who may be your friends. They may be cricket players, golfers, sailors, football players, to utilize their platform to improve their community. That's what we try to do here. Speaking out doesn't have to be controversial, as someone reminded me yesterday. Controversy is subjective. Use your platform to make a difference. Not everyone's going to like you anyway. I mean, look, it's hard like in Manchester United players, they can't score a goal against Crystal Palace. I don't like them today. I'm not, but look at it. Marcus Rashford, I'm going to use an example. Marcus Rashford has been the most annoying Manchester United player this season. The most annoying. But Marcus Rashford, what he has done off the field.
Awesome.
It's like, he's not just speaking about it. He's out there doing something about it. And we must hold our local athletes accountable in a manner that's going to improve the well-being of our community, not just today, but going forward. So I would love to hear sports journalists in Bermuda, get the opinions, because I'll leave it at this, because we have to go to the news break. You know, I'll go on and on. But I'm pretty sure cannabis is widely used with many athletes. Just like conscription impacted many athletes, there are gay people all around us. Your voice on these issues could be the difference. Think about it. Carla, over to you. Don't forget, we have a rather important conversation coming up. One of my favorite topics is, we've been speaking about wellness pretty much since we began this show. So looking forward to Zach and Sara Bosch de Noya coming up after Carla gives us some updates on what's going on around Bermuda.
More than $500,000 will be dedicated to support those who age out of childcare, the Minister of Social Development and Seniors has announced. The allocation was one of several funds listed by Minister Tanae Furbett as she broke down her ministry's budget for the financial year, the Royal Gazette is reporting. Mrs. Furbett said that $600,000 will go towards independent living coordinators who will assist young people transitioning out of the government's care. She said, "We are happy to announce that children in our care will no longer age out of support once they turn 18 years old. In fact, $600,000 has been allocated to support children in our care who may still require our assistance in housing, post-secondary education, career guidance, and physical and mental health care." Did you know the marching bands appeared in the 1800s by all accounts? They originated from groups of traveling musicians who would perform at festivals centuries ago, and as time went on, they would become the foundation for military bands. And military bands are where marching bands directly evolved from. Marching bands in the U.S. are known mostly for performing at sports events, namely American football games. The oldest recorded marching band was the Notre Dame Marching Band, which was established in 1845. Even if you don't have a musical bone in your body, you can still enjoy Marching Band Day. Go back to the roots of the marching band by listening to some of the great upbeat marching band music that's out there. Turning to weather, the temperature in Bermuda is expected to reach a high of 68 today. Las Vegas, Nevada will see a high of 67, and Leeds, UK, a high of 44. That's your Daily Hour news break.
You know, I have to be honest, right? You mentioned marching bands. So, you would see these fun marching bands at the college football games and everything. So I thought, okay, since I got conscripted into the regiment, I could be a part of a marching band. I have no rhythm, and I didn't know how to play an instrument, so I didn't. See, so the only thing I thought I could enjoy about the regiment, I couldn't do. But anyway, that's for another episode, folks. It didn't quite work. What they call it, 2 left feet or something like that?
You could have been the baton man. What's he called? The guy with the big stick in the front. You could have been him.
I couldn't even do that right, Carl. I might have poked myself in the eye, but we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with our guest for the day, Zach Moniz from Lindo, Sara Bosch de Noya from the Bermuda Diabetes Association. Stick with us.
Good day, Medical House, Doris speaking. Can I help you?
Medical House is Bermuda's leading one-stop shop for healthcare.
Medical House is a great resource for Lefroy. The service is excellent.
Medical House is best known for its uniforms and footwear. It has hundreds of styles of scrubs and nurses' uniforms for health professionals. Bermuda's top doctors, dentists, care homes, and the hospital choose Medical House for a wide range of products. These same professional quality products are available to you for home health care.
The biggest reason to come see us is that we specialize in these areas and the education and knowledge that we provide.
Medical House is on Millreach Lane in Pembroke, where there's private parking right outside the door. Call or visit Medical House today.
Amy's Kitchen is an independent organic food producer, a family business who've been focusing on wholesome and flavorful foods for over 30 years. From their first pot pie right up to 1 million meals a day, and firmly believe in the importance of TLC throughout the entire journey to the final outcome. This month we're featuring Amy's Organic Soups, black bean, vegetable, minestrone, quinoa, kale, red lentil, low-fat split pea, and vegetable barley and more. All of them dairy, gluten, and lactose free. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Yep. All right. Welcome back to the big show. Carla Zul, I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and our friends over at Channel 82, where you can also watch this and many other locally produced shows if you have One Communications cable. Look, very important conversation again today. It kind of comes over from what yesterday's conversation was about with Tamara Richardson from Peoples and Movement with Tamara Donnell. So we're talking about wellness, but before we get into the conversation, I just want to share a video with you all, basically about the diabetes walk that's taken place. So stick with me. We're going to just watch this short video of the diabetes walk, and then we'll come back with Zach and Sarah right after this. All right, stick with us. I think we can participate, you being in the UK and me being in South Florida. So let's get into the conversation with Carla.
What do you think stood out to me in that nice video? Tell me what stood out to me the most. See how well you know me.
Well, no, you're going to take me away from my question first.
Okay.
So, folks, Carla has been telling me that she's been exercising as of late. And so the other day she sent me a still shot, a picture of her outside saying, look, I'm outside exercising. And so I just said, well, Carla, this is a still shot. This could have been taken anytime. You're not walking or sweating or anything. It's a still shot. So I just want you to, I'm going to tell you what I think stood out to you. The fact that it was actually people moving.
We put in 5,991 steps on that walk. That's the most I've probably done in a week. So I was excited. I did it. I'm not worrying about you. We did it. Me, my oldest, and my youngest. We did it.
Let's bring in our guests to see what they think about your still shots. Here we go. Welcome to the show, Zach and Sara. How are you?
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
Keep going, Carla. You could go take pictures wherever you go, mate. Send them to Jamal. You're out there. You're doing it. That's what you got to do, right? So.
And then he posts them on his WhatsApp status, teasing me. I was like, what? I did it.
So no, I was just showing people that you were out exercising, part of our, wellness campaign here on the Daily Hour, which fits in perfectly with what you all are doing. But Sara, question for you. The pandemic has shifted so many things to virtual. The walk to defeat diabetes. Speak to us about the event as this actually falls within the virtual realm now. Have you had a lot of interest thus far, and what are your expectations for the event being it's virtual now?
Yeah, we have, and thanks very much for having us on this morning, Zach and I. I think it speaks to, we're so grateful for the continued partnership with Lindo's, and obviously this year has been a challenging year for us, and we can speak in terms of what we've seen for our diabetes community here in Bermuda. But we wanted to really continue the momentum, Jamal, with what we've done with Lindo's. The Lindo's to Lindo's walk has been over a decade now and going strong. And we want people to keep moving. The idea of actually walking, which is always so great, the Lindo's facility to another Lindo's facility, Lindo's in Warwick to Lindo's in Devonshire, isn't possible as a group en masse this year. But we thought, why not take the walk virtual? There would obviously be there's less to do on the day in terms of the mechanics of the organizing, and it puts it out to being a really fun community. Carl, as you see there, you got to post pictures along the walk wherever you go. We made a sort of a decision. I think our board, Debbie, was speaking to the organizers at Race Day World, and they said it's quite nice when you give people a route. Although let's be really clear, anybody in Bermuda, wherever you guys are, can go out and do a 5K walk or a 3K walk, sign on at Race Day World and be part of the walk this weekend. Doesn't have to be in St. George's, but we're just giving people a route and a marker. And in doing so, Courtney and Uday, one of our staff members who's been truly marvelous behind this, went down to local retailers in St. George's. And so we could try and give them a bit of a shout out too. So if you go into some of the shops and some of the restaurants over the weekend, you've done a walk with your family and your friends, you can enjoy some discounts in some of the restaurants and shops. And we think that's a great way of getting people to visit St. George's and boosting our community on that day.
I like the strategy behind that. Really working with the vendors down there, the local vendors, and boosting what's been said by many those times. This is collaboratively. This is a great idea, especially right now. Zach, why is it so important for a business like Lindo's to collaborate with organizations like the Bermuda Diabetes Association on an initiative like this?
Why is it important? Wow. Well, I think for us, it's a huge synergy, right? So for the Bermuda Diabetes, and we're in the food providing service, we have a pharmacy, things like that. It sort of fits like a glove. And I think it's actually been over 2 decades that we've been working with Bermuda Diabetes now with the Lindo's to Lindo's race. And the Lindo's to Lindo's race has been going for 3 decades at least, I think. So I think it was in the mid 80s when the Lindo's to Lindo's race started. So, we had the event, and probably somewhere 10 years into the event, somebody from the Bermuda Diabetes came by and said, hey, look, we could work together on this. And yeah, it works like a glove, right? It fits like a glove. So it's important for us to be involved because we can be, and we can help out where we can. And I think it's one of those things that, yeah, it fits. It's there.
Now, Sara, diabetics have been labeled as high risk during the COVID. How has the organization responded to assist patients and their requests during the pandemic?
So yeah, and our terminology, people with diabetes, I think all over the world have naturally so a great anxiety around the pandemic this year, last year, and in doing so, we're seeing this also now in terms of education for them about the vaccination rollout, Carla. Right from the get-go, I think we, the Diabetes Association, we were able to, and I think I spoke to you just last year, probably on the cusp of this, I think, Jamal, wasn't it? Just around the start of the pandemic, or in the mid, we remained open to serve patients for their, for support, for education, for their medication and needs, trying really, the strongest message I delivered as the diabetes educator to our patients was that although diabetes puts you at no added risk of contracting or getting the virus, if you did get sick with coronavirus infection, wherever you are in the world, potentially having diabetes that was poorly, at the time that your blood sugars were high and you were struggling with your diabetes, if you at that time got a COVID infection, you were likely to fare a lot worse with it. So I tried to use it as a motivation and some guidance to people that there's no better time like the present to do everything you can to get your diabetes well managed. Make sure that your numbers are where they need to be. When your body's fighting an infection, it just simply struggles to do so when your blood sugars are much higher than they need to be. And that goes with any illness.
Now, the Bermuda Diabetes Association moved into a new facility last year. What are some of the programs and opportunities you're now offering to patients?
Yes, we did, Colin. Thanks. That was a fantastic move for us, one that we've been working very, very hard at for the last few years and somewhat delayed last year by COVID. We got in the middle of August. When we've seen, as I was offline chatting with Jamal, about a huge number, much more of an increased number of patients who are underinsured or uninsured. So we wanted to make, first and foremost, that a lot of our programs offered are available at absolutely no cost to the patients. We have, so I'm there obviously as a diabetes educator to do one-on-one counseling, of which we're busy back to back with referrals from physicians all over the island. You can come in and one-on-one have a review of your diabetes. We offer a program with our 2 pharmacists which is called Know Your Medicines. We felt that there was an increasing number of people on the island who were taking a lot of medications. For diabetes, people can be on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 medications. And as with any medication for any chronic disease, but particularly diabetes centering around food and mealtime, the timing of which you take your medications and how you take them with or without food, when you take it in relation to your meal, has a massive impact on how that medication works. So we felt it was vital that patients didn't just talk about that little white pill that I take, whatever time of day. We want people to know what they're taking, why. And so for absolute free of cost, you can sit down for our pharmacists and empty your bag of medications, and they'll go through all your medications with you. And that's just a register at certain times of the week for them to do that. We've also, with funding, been able to start a teaching breakfast that I do on a Tuesday morning. We've got a beautiful teaching room, teaching kitchen. And so on a Tuesday morning for patients without insurance or underinsured, I do a 3-hour basic diabetes self-management education workshop, and it starts with a teaching breakfast, and none of that again has any cost to the patient. So we suspended that briefly when the Bermuda numbers of COVID spiked in December, but other than that, we've run that every week.
That's awesome. Now, Zach, many people still say or still believe that eating healthy is expensive. How are you, as a grocer, the Lindo's brand, responding to that? What's your take on that?
Well, I think there's a few different angles that you can approach that. Yes, it can be very expensive. If you're going to choose the latest organic trends and try to go for that kind of product, it is very expensive. However, to eat healthy doesn't mean you have to go with those organic trends, right? So if you eat seasonally and you pick fruits and vegetables that are in season, and then if you even go to the frozen aisle and you pick fruits and vegetables out of the frozen aisle, and even into the canned aisle, and you pick fruits and vegetables from the shelf, it doesn't have to be expensive. Even junk food is expensive in Bermuda, right? So I think you have to shop smarter and not really get caught up in what the trends are of the day. So kombucha is a huge drink that's supposedly healthy for you right now. But, you know, a bottle of it on the shelf is not cheap. It's very expensive. But do you really need to drink kombucha to be healthy? I don't think so. So if you get frozen broccoli or you get frozen spinach or something like that, especially when it's out of season, if it's in season, the price is probably going to be pretty good, because if it's in season, that means that the yield coming out of the fields is good, which means there's a surplus, which means the demand goes down, which means the price drops, right? So yeah, try to eat seasonally. Try to, when you can't get that particular vegetable or fruit that you want that's not in season, if you buy it out of season, it's going to be more expensive. But if you go to the frozen aisle, you can definitely find alternatives. And I've had quite a few conversations with the health department, and they are really trying to push some of that. Is, you know, what we have available in the freezer aisle is not bad. It's not unhealthy for you. It is actually picked at its best possible time and frozen at peak freshness. So those kinds of things can be helpful, right?
To speak to that, Carla, and it all comes to education. I love those 2 points Zach made in our teaching breakfasts, and we promote berries as being one of the healthier fruits that people with diabetes can eat. But we all know if you buy a fresh punnet of berries in Bermuda, they're expensive and they often don't last. So my class has a package of 15-ounce package of frozen berries that you boil down on the stove with some lemon juice and vanilla, and you use that on your oatmeal or on your Greek yogurt. So, and the same thing I've done with Lindo's grocery tours. A bag of small little apples of 7 or 10 apples in a bag is actually the same price as a large bag of potato chips. So you have to be smart going around the store and really shop economically. The other thing I wanted to share being Lindo's, the best thing that Giorgio ever said to us when we were doing a walkthrough at Lindo's was, you know, as his father said to him growing up as a boy, one of the things we shouldn't scrimp on and make cuts in is our health. And so looking at healthy eating really was actually as an investment. There should be no area other than the food we're putting in our body where we consider that as an investment in our health. And so if we shift that mindset a little bit, Carla, that healthy eating is expensive, but my health is worth it. And if I know those things that I'm going around, as Zach said, the nutritional content of frozen vegetables, looking at things that are locally and in produce, making up recipes where I can, it really makes a difference.
I love what you just said. Like that's something that needs to be
that mindset.
Your health is an investment. Like it's an investment in self. Yeah.
I mean, so if you take something like watermelon, and if you want to eat watermelon at Christmas, where is it growing? It's not growing in the eastern side, or at least the northern hemisphere, right? So it's got to come from the southern hemisphere. That's got to travel quite a distance to get to Bermuda. By the time it gets here, it's expensive, but it's out of season. So purchase something that's in season. Try to stick to the seasons, and then when you can treat yourself when you want to, but generally speaking, you can supplement what you think you need to have fresh with something frozen, which is usually a pretty good deal.
There's ways to do this. There's ways to do this, and I think I want to touch on James Birch because he actually says something interesting. Where can we find a seasonal calendar that works for Bermuda? Now, I do know, if I'm not mistaken, the Bermuda Tourism Authority actually did have a harvest schedule.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. They had a very nice calendar, and they had all kinds of local produce and things on that calendar as well. I think Dr. Connie, she had one as well that was pretty good. And she actually does a tour of the island of the things that you can get. You can probably pick it off the side of the road, like the wild spinaches and the cherries and the different things like that, that are just wildly available in Bermuda that are good for you, that aren't going to cost you anything anywhere. Right. So, I think, yeah.
I find it very interesting because as a parent, I've been a parent for 20 years now, but we were always told that in the beginning, especially when she was younger, that fresh was better. So I love the fact that the mindset is shifting that frozen. I mean, who can not forget the Green Giant commercials, right? They always say it that, but I just find it intriguing because he was always told fresh is better, fresh is better. And now to know that frozen is just as good, you know, that could really make a difference to some people's pockets.
Yeah, I think Simone and Melanie at the health department have been sort of beating that drum. I want to say for at least 5 or 6 years now. They've been trying to get that message out there that you don't necessarily have to buy it fresh. Frozen is just as good. I think, Sarah, you've actually said that quite a few times as well, right? So
we certainly fundamental, obviously, in any patient counseling and education in our classes, and you know, the dietitians, we've got March is actually National Nutrition Month, and we're running campaigns on the not just the healthy eating but the sustainability aspect of it. And I think what I've seen, Jamal, I've been privileged to be in healthcare now almost 30 years in Bermuda. I saw in the island last year with a lot of my clients and patients, people increasingly growing their own. So through a couple of weeks or a pause that we had in our worlds where people started to grow just a little bit of produce at home, and some people going all out and having a big vegetable garden. So, you know, again, the government dietitians, we as a community have been harping on the benefits of growing your own vegetables, looking obviously, as Zach said, things that are surplus in the store and are locally in season, and buying frozen. Canned, Carla, are the ones, canned vegetables, obviously, for a lot of our seniors and people who rely on them, we lose nutrients. And when you pour away the liquid that canned vegetables are canned in, you're pouring away many of the micronutrients. And that's why, but in frozen vegetables, you're not losing those at all with when you cook them. So, I mean, education on, and I think the coronavirus, the pandemic could have shown us that our health, as we've said, is incredibly valuable. Nothing got people out of this pandemic other than, you know, the fortitude and strength of their health and their ability to fight this virus. And obviously there were other social determinants of it, which we all need to sit back and really thoroughly examine. But health is important. So any message that we pick up, anything we can give up, our help from Lindo's in getting people out and getting walking. We're so grateful for the donations. Obviously, we need to continue to provide all the services that we do with the few staff we have to keep Bermuda and our diabetes community supported and educated. And I will remain obviously feverishly passionate as an educator that the more you know, walking into that store, you can go and buy frozen vegetables as opposed to that, it's going to make an impact on people's health. Education is power.
Indeed. And I want to go back to Courtney Marner. She's a dietitian and nutritionist. She actually mentioned that as well when she was on. So from the first time you were on to her, and we've had so many people, and it just seems like the wellness message is very consistent, as you both mentioned today, that, you know, for so long it was, oh, they need to be fresh, and then people jumped on this organic bandwagon, and I'm really happy that we're sorting this out, and I'm thankful, especially what you just said as well, Zach, because I'm going to be honest with you. I would go into Whole Foods thinking I need the freshest, newest thing at times, and then I'm just like, no, I'm going to get the same nutrients from this orange that's $2.99 and so on. But I think that mentality, how do you change the mentality back, like the mindset that it's okay not to have organic?
How do you change that mindset? That's a complete paradigm shift, isn't it? Yeah, it just depends on what you're able to do. If your finances are not there to buy a kombucha that's $5 for a 20-ounce bottle, then you know those are decisions and choices that you have to make. I think what we haven't talked about, which is difficult, is time. I think a lot of what people do is when you're buying things that are heavily processed, you're buying them because you don't have the time to prepare something that is fresh or that is not highly processed. So if you're buying a frozen pizza or you're buying a frozen meal, it's because you don't have time. And that is one thing that I'm not sure how we solve that problem. People's time is very important to them. And that is where people get themselves into trouble. It's going to cost you more money to buy something or to buy something highly processed and that you can just pop in the microwave than it is going to cost you to make a soup with some frozen vegetables and a protein or a legume or a lentil or something like that. But you need the time to make the soup, right?
Yeah.
And, I look at my wife and I'm thinking, she's going all day long, never stops. I walk in the house at 8 o'clock at night and she's just getting ready to make dinner last night. And I'm, the last thing you want to do is say, hey, what happened? Right. So that's a fighting words, right? But she just didn't have time because, it was one activity to the next. She's teaching 3 kids and doing this and do that. And everybody's sort of in that same position right now. That's where the pandemic came in, which was really interesting. Everybody all of a sudden had time in the pandemic. So everybody was baking and everybody was cooking at home. And a lot of those things, everybody was sharing their favorite recipe that they just created on Facebook. And that's why there was no flour available and yeast, because the whole world was baking for the first time in, probably half a century. So that is the challenge. I feel for people that are working 2 and 3 jobs and just don't have the time to prepare. And I think that's where Sara comes in. That's where the Bermuda Diabetes Association comes in. They've got that beautiful kitchen that they've got in that new building. And Sara's can show you how to whip something up pretty quick that's going to last 2 or 3 days. And that is very sustaining and not expensive to make. So make use of those things. There's other resources out there, right? So
Indeed. Before we let you all go, I just want to go back to the walk. Obviously, a lot of work's being done, and we love these kind of conversations. And of course, you both know, whenever you need us, just let us know. We're opening the door to continue this, because at the end of the day, it's all about preventative measures. That said, how can people sign up? How can they participate? How can they find out more information?
racedayworld.com.
Yeah, racedayworld.com. Sign up, and it's a very, very nominal fee this year. It's all over our website too, Bermuda Diabetes Association, on Lindo's, on our Facebook pages, on our Instagram. For those of you that we've had a couple of people come in this week who don't have access to, because there is no paper entry this year. If you don't have access to a computer, we've got a computer set up in our teaching room just outside where you can come in, and one of us will set you up and you can sign up on the computer there. Lindo's phenomenal help. We love the designs year by year of the t-shirts, and we have, for people who are going to sign up and do this walk, it's the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st of March. And you have all weekend to grab your friends, your loved ones, and your family, go down to St. George's and do that route. Check on our information on our Instagram and social media to find the route. Take pictures of yourself doing it. We have 500 t-shirts, and 500 t-shirts only. A fantastic deep green teal color with just keep up the walk to defeat diabetes. We need people's support to keep doing what we're doing. So thank you to the Daily Hour, obviously, to Zach, for letting our voices be heard and not let this be silent. We have, I think, the impact of stress and health and chronic disease. We've just got to keep forward with this momentum, and we look forward to Lindo's being back on the road, and Lindo's to Lindo's. But until then, this year, let's all do it. Let's all get the community out walking over those 3 days over the weekend.
All right. Carla, so I'm going to put you on the spot with our friends. I think you and I should have a competition with our audience that weekend and see who takes the most steps. You down?
She's down. She's already got it.
I'll do it. I promise you. I'm here listening to you guys and I'm giggling because I'm like, I need to give up drinking cider. I love cider. And this morning I said, I'm done with my last, you lot make me feel guilty. I'm like, I'm not going to drink any more cider for about 6 weeks. Cause I do have a concern with sugar as well. That was so ill-timey. So I'm like, I got to make a difference. So yeah, let's do it.
Cider's not cheap. That's right.
All right. So Carla and Jamal, we are challenging the audience. We will be participating. I'll be signing up today. Carla,
okay. It's on.
Sara, thank you so much for coming on to have this conversation.
One sec. I'm sorry. Do you remember, Zach, the last time we had a challenge and he was supposed to wear the butterfly costume?
Yeah.
Do you remember? And then the pandemic happened. Right?
I wore the butterfly costume.
No, Jamal was in the challenge.
What?
Something
No.
he was.
it didn't take place. It was supposed to.
Right, the pandemic happened. So I'm afraid of what's going to happen this year.
There is a Facebook page out there on Friends of Hospice's site that does have me in at least the butterfly hat. So
don't let
when we were drawing the tickets.
No, my point is that the last time there was a challenge involving Jamal, a pandemic happened. So
no, that's not what happened. The pandemic was already in place. That was August. He came on September 12th, when my birthday. It was supposed to be the rubber duck therapy. I was supposed to do it. However, it was something had happened. It wasn't a pandemic. Something happened, and it was the storm. That's what
something
it was.
happened.
Storm.
That's my point.
But
okay, we're gonna walk.
Carla, if you're gonna use that as an excuse to think that I'm gonna back out of a challenge with you, you're sadly mistaken. I will be hitting 20,000 steps that weekend minimum. All right, that's
okay. It's on and popping.
Thanks again, Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh,
No. We need photos of the steps, not just Carla stationary somewhere. We need photos of the
Sarah.
Yeah, just saying.
Thank you.
Thank you. We need to find ours. We love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And
I'm gonna do it. Watch, I'm gonna do it. Once I say I commit to something, I'm gonna do it.
Thank you all at Lindo's for continuing to support us and also providing partnerships like this so that we can let our audience know this is what's going on and this is what we can do to help our community. So we appreciate everything you all continuously do in the community.
Well, let me tell you, Jamal, I'll go back to your original questions about why is it important for us to do things like this? We are part of this community, and I think we do the easy part at Lindo's. I think the people like Sarah and Courtney and Debbie Jones at the Bermuda Diabetes Association, they do the hard work. They put in the hard hours, and all credit to them and what they do for us and our community. So thank you, guys.
All right. No, thank you. All right. We'll speak to you shortly. If there's anything else you need us to do before now and the walk, please let us know. We'll share the video because I know some people said they couldn't see it. We'll share it on our Facebook later on today. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Have a good day.
All righty.
Thank you.
Oh, it's on. It's on. Oh boy.
I'm gonna do it.
We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back, but I'm a whoop her. I'm a whooper.
Bermuda, do you know the difference between internet and Wi-Fi? Don't worry, neither did I. Let me break it down to you. Internet is delivered to your modem, which then has to push the Wi-Fi signal into the rest of your home. Do you find that the further you're away from your modem, the weaker your Wi-Fi signal gets? That's because Bermuda's homes are built hurricane tough. It's really difficult for that Wi-Fi signal to reach every room. But you're in luck. Our One Home Wi-Fi solution guarantees Wi-Fi coverage in and around your home with the help of our Eero devices. Plug in the Eero around your home and it will create a mesh Wi-Fi network in every room. Check us out at One today to sign up and make sure you can stream, work, and play from every corner of your home.
All right, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to One Communications, Lindo's Medical House, friends over there at Channel 82. It's the Daily Hour. She's Carla Zul. I'm Jamal Hartman, and there's a butt whooping coming, folks.
So what exactly do we have to do? I just have to walk, right?
Yeah, just get your step. We're battling in a step count.
Oh, okay.
We're battling a step count. And no, look, I'm going to go through some comments because we did get a lot. Sean Smith says, please, Jamal, that's back and forth from his car in the parking lot. Well, you know what? I won't even do my park. I'll park my car close.
He can't, Sean, because the challenge is from Friday to Sunday, if I'm correct. So he won't even be at work
on Friday.
Besides on the Friday. Okay, I'm going to start walking. I'm going to start practicing.
You need a practice to walk. Okay. All right. Unfortunately, my running coach made me leave Fitbit for Garmin. So if you have a Garmin, I'd love to link up with you so we can challenge. Let's go through some comments. Jody Virgil says, yes, easy recipes that stretch and are amazing and vital. It takes us back to our old ways, which is always great. Yes, that good old cooking. Tamara Richardson, Carla.
We are all busy, but we need to make time for our health or else prepare to spend our wealth on disease. If we can watch Netflix full seasons, I giggle when I say that. We can exercise, cook real foods, and create healthy routines. Totally agree.
Indeed. And Kathy Rogers says, pay for healthy foods now or pay for prescription meds later. Really, really awesome conversation with both Sarah and Zach. James Birch was thankful enough to show the link, runsignup.com/race/BM/St. George's/defeated with 2 E's and diabetes, defeat diabetes with 2 E's. So if you want to sign up, it's daily playtime, folks. It's Name That Place. Carla needs your help. I said it's an easy one, but it's a trick one. Here we go. Name that place. I'm going to eliminate the trick right now. It's one of the most well-known historically Black colleges and universities in the U.S., founded in March of 1867. It is you ready to answer yet?
Howard University, I would assume, is the answer.
Check you, girl. Check you. All right. Some notable graduates from Howard University are current Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris, the late actor Chadwick Boseman, and former Premier of Bermuda, Dr. the Honorable Ewart Brown. So Howard University is that place. So did you figure out the pattern of why it was Howard today?
No.
Well,
why?
Well,
I did the thing about marching bands, but you did that, but you didn't know I was doing that. No.
The reason it's Howard is because since we started on Tuesday, this day in our history, Howard was founded in March 3rd, 1867. So I just said in the interest of the pattern to make it easy for Carla.
Oh, but I didn't even know that it was a history. But yeah, I got it right. That's all that matters to me. Woohoo! I wish I went Howard though. When I look back, I went to UGA, but I wish I went to Howard.
Well, after work academy would have been a good thing, right? Look. So the new feature, Black History, we're gonna let you know this day in our history. Do you know that on March 4th, Senegal celebrates its independence? Happy Independence Day to the people over in Senegal. Carla, on today, Ida Gray Nelson Rollins. Do you know who she is?
No.
All right. She's the first African-American woman dentist, and she was born on March 4th, 1867 in Clarksville, Tennessee. Interesting. I did not know who she was.
Same day Howard was founded yesterday. Okay, I say same day Howard was founded.
No, Howard was founded 2 days prior, on the 2nd.
Okay.
Do you know basketball player named Draymond Green?
I heard the name.
All right. He plays for the Golden State Warriors. He was born March 4th, 1990. So some interesting facts. It's a lot. Again, we'll continue to share as much of this information as possible so that people know a bit about their history and what's going on went on in our world. You got any inspiration for us? We got some Howard grads here.
The best protection any woman can have is courage. Elizabeth Cady Stanton.
Yeah. Take a risk, right? Any final thoughts on today's episode? If you enjoyed today's episode with Zach and Sarah, make sure you smash a like, give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments. Don't forget, we'll have part 2 of the explaining the budget with Craig Simmons tomorrow. So make sure you let your friends and family know that. We will get as many questions. If you have any questions for Mr. Simmons on the budget, feel free to send us an email at engage@thedailyhour.com. Any final thoughts on today, Carla?
Let's just do better for our health. I mean, it's so important. And I promise you, I am finishing off my last cider and then I'm done for a while. But also, it's my big brother's birthday today. Terry Trott, who's also your first cousin. Look at that. We're always connected, Jamal.
Yeah, I think he was the first cousin that's older than me that I was taller than. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday, bro.
I know some people out there wanting to write something like Jamal is taller than somebody. Yes, I am. All right. Happy birthday, cousin. What's this number? 50.
How old am I? 49.
49.
I'm putting it out there. It's 49.
All right. Well, happy birthday, cuz. Make it a good one. Hope you have a lovely day and don't do anything crazy that Carla would do. Right. Don't forget, like I said, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you give us a like, love, show us some love. Otherwise, we just want to say thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, and Lindo's, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you. As always, we appreciate all of you. We love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Carla Zul. I'm Jamel Hartman. Make it a great day.